morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. I'm proud to stand here for the 7th year in a row to recognize the 22nd annual Denim Day in the city of Los Angeles. I am joined by some of our biggest advocates for women and women's rights, including Patty Giggans, the CEO of Peace Over Violence and the founder of Denim Day.
Global founder.
A longtime supporter of women's rights, our Mayor Eric Garcetti, and my fellow council members and strong advocates, Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez, Councilman Mark Ridley Thomas, and Councilwoman Nithya Raman. Today we wear denim in support of the movement launched by Peace Over Violence in response to an unjust court ruling in 1998. Italian Supreme Court justices overturned a rape conviction, ruling that since the victim was wearing tight jeans, she must have helped the man who raped her remove them, thereby providing consent. We are here to stand with the victims of sexual assault. Sexual violence is not like having a scar for everyone to see. The trauma you have experienced is real, and it feels like it never goes away. The pain of a person whose everyday life has been changed in an instant by an act of sexual violence that lingers and seeps into every aspect of your life. And while these assaults overwhelmingly happen to women, we know that men are assaulted too, and often are less likely to talk about it. And LGBTQ victims can feel even more isolated more than ever before because they're less likely to talk about it as well. So many of these attacks go unreported, isolating victims of sexual assault, but when they do give voice to their experiences, they're giving voice to countless others who still suffer in silence. We live in a culture that never fails to blame women. What we're wearing, how much you had to drink that night, are you sure you weren't asking for it? Doubt, suspicion, and it's always our fault. At its core, it stems from a way of thinking that women are less than. This way of thinking leads to verbal harassment, which leads to actionable attacks. And you know, these incidents often are met with things like boys will be boys, because it starts with our social mindset that we aren't equal, and that needs to change. This is why we must talk about sexual assault seriously as well, because one gives way to the next. And that's why this council passed a motion to address the pervasive issue of street harassment, because we should not feel uncomfortable walking down the street in public, worrying too much about what we're wearing, because quite frankly, it doesn't seem that ever goes away. To feel like you have to watch where you walk through, to feel you have to second guess what you're wearing because you're worried about a confrontation walking down the street. There are so many forms of sexual harassment and assault, and street harassment happens to be one of them, and it's power over intimidation. And this city has a responsibility to protect its residents from harassment in public places. Here's the deal. The problem is not with the women who are the victims, it's the perpetrators who victimize them. We need to raise better men to respect women. We cannot continue to allow this culture where women are sexualized as they go about their daily business. Walking down the street should not trigger a woman to prepare for a fight or a fight situation. But how we can continue to caution young women without addressing this bigger issue of teaching young men to respect women. Men need to do better. That's why we stand here today to say enough is enough. Enough with the mindset of male supremacy, enough with the catcalls that you hear when you turn the corner, and as sure as hell is enough with sexual assault and sexual violence. We are here to stand with victims, and to the survivors who may be listening to us today, we're thinking of you, and we stand with you, and you have our support. And as a survivor once said, you are valued, respected, and undeniably every minute of every day you are powerful, no matter what it takes no matter who you are, no one can ever take that away from you. And I'd like to introduce a force to be reckoned with, a woman who undeniably is one of the most powerful advocates for victims of sexual assault, my good friend and the CEO of Peace Over Violence, Patty Giggans.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nury, and thank you for your support all these many years. I love having Nury go before me because she always says the things that then I don't need to say. Welcome, everyone, to the 22nd year of the Denim Day movement, which was started right here in 1999 in the City of Angels by our organization, Peace Over Violence, the first sexual and domestic violence agency in the country. POV also started right here in our great city back in 1971. And this year we are celebrating our 50th anniversary. 5 decades of intervention services and prevention education, and hopefully we've caused some good trouble along the way. On this day, we ask everyone to make a social statement with their fashion statement. Denim Day was inspired by an international outrage when a judge overturned a lower court's conviction, and this happened in Italy, of a rapist because the victim wore jeans. The judge ruled that because the victim was wearing tight jeans, she must have helped her attacker remove them, thus implying consent. All these years later, our jeans and denim stand as a reminder that there is never an excuse and never an invitation to harass, abuse, assault, rape. Please go to denimdayinfo.org to learn more and about how you can support survivors and prevent sexual violence. There are Denim Days happening all over the country and the world. This campaign has become an open source movement with new groups and more individuals joining in every year. Even during this COVID time, it has reached millions all over the globe. It is a vehicle for solidarity, learning, and healing that goes beyond what we could have ever imagined. And post-COVID, as we re-enter whatever that new normal is, we must prepare for the PTSD, the stories, and reports of violence, child abuse, battering, because we know that home is not safe for everyone. Denim Day's purpose is to support survivors, uplift their voices, and educate about the myths and realities, lies, and misconceptions. To tell the truth about sexual violence in all its forms. To elucidate the complexity and the intersectionality of the survivor experience of trauma, recovery, and healing with an aim toward prevention. This year, we added the themes of believe survivors and we protect each other. What do we mean by believe survivors? We mean to listen with an open heart and an open mind, to truly receive the survivor's story, not act like a judge or a jury, to resist the shaming and the blaming, to stand with, alongside, to support. What do we mean by we protect each other? For sure, it means that when we practice bystander, upstander intervention, we protect each other. When we interrupt and disrupt safely, when we bear witness, we protect each other. When we speak out about misogyny and racism and sexism and all the other isms, we protect each other. Well, Denim Day is organized during April, which is Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month, to transform our violence-prone society. We must do our due diligence and educate ourselves and others and understand that without equity, we will never end sexual and domestic violence. Let's support survivors every day, commit to bystander interventions and preventions, and invest in violence prevention in all its avenues of possibilities. Please join us this afternoon at 2 o'clock Pacific time and 5 o'clock Eastern time when we have our second annual virtual survivor rally hosted by Aloe Black and Maya Jupiter. Please go to Peace Over Violence YouTube channel and join us this afternoon to hear the true voices of survivorship. After 22 years, we are still at it. We're still here today with those same goals because while there is progress and survivors are finding their voices and telling their stories, there are a lot of practices, policies, and culture to change. We live in a rape culture with systems that dominate, subjugate, and oppress. It is becoming very clear that individuals will not stop harming and resorting to violence until systems stop oppressing. There is no way that sexual violence, domestic violence, and the other violences will be reduced or ended until there is racial justice, gender justice, and economic justice. The accountability conversations, the protests, the speaking of truth to power, the reimaginings, the drive to perfect our democracy are all part of creating a new path to a better future, free from interpersonal violence. We are in an evolutionary, revolutionary moment. Let's keep going, and let's keep wearing our social justice fabric, our denim. I knew you'd like that, Mark. It is my pleasure to introduce the 42nd mayor of the City of Angels. You know, it started here in Denim Day, and our mayor has declared Denim Day, along with the City Council, every year since he has become mayor. And before that, he participated. But our mayor has always prioritized sexual and domestic violence in his administration. And he has led us through this COVID pandemic. And throughout, he supported survivors with programs like funding for Project Safe Haven. It's my great pleasure to welcome Mayor Garcetti.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you. Let's give it up for Patty Giggans. Come on. At least the background here. We don't have a rally, so thank you, Patty. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for what you do. This is my 21st Denim Day. I've been here 20 years, but the first year was when I had just been elected, and my father, who used to work right in the office right there, I think the 2 years before, joined. And it is one of the days that I most look forward to because it's a day that I remember the first day I was here in City Council wearing jeans. Somebody called our front office and said, "Why is my council member wearing jeans? I just elected him. I expect him to be dressed a little bit more respectfully." And allowed the receptionist that was working on our team to start having conversation, because we'd all been briefed about what it meant. And I hope all of us get some questions today, why are you wearing jeans? And are able to, for a moment, make sure that this is the springboard that it always is each year, to make sure that we move beyond a rape culture, beyond a misogyny culture, beyond a male supremacy culture. And so thank you, Council President Martinez, for keeping the tradition going and for speaking truth to power and witnessing all around us the work that needs to be done. Thank you to this amazing City Council. It was when it was still the Los Angeles County Commission on Assaults Against Women that I remember this man being honored and speaking about raising 2 young men to break that culture as well. And the work that you have done as a supervisor, council member, supervisor, state senator. You basically had every job in politics, almost. Monica Rodriguez, who leads our public safety committee, the daughter of a firefighter and somebody who is committed to not only a reimagining, but a forceful reappraisal of the values that we have to make sure that all of us own safety, co-own safety. And Nithya Raman, who has already made a huge splash and is my council member, and I'm so proud to be here with as well. Every day this organization makes an incredible difference and makes the coalitions that cross borders necessary for us to imagine a day where peace exists over violence. I want to give a special shout out to the men and women who do this work. Each year we talk to some of the police officers who are the interventionists, the sexual assault response teams, and domestic abuse response teams. And I want to thank my partner in life and the best part of my day, my wife, who worked with me early on in my administration to make sure every police division had DART teams, civilians who could come out and take the place after police officers went away to make sure we never returned to homes where there's domestic abuse, and the same thing with SART teams. We had so much pain in 2020 with the loss that we've all had, but we can finally feel hope on the horizon. With more people vaccinated, we're all going to have a mask burning party soon now that we've gotten the official go-ahead, I think, from the president. But this year, we've put forward also a justice budget to say we're not going to return to a broken status quo. We're going to build on progress and build justice. In such, we put an additional $1 million proposed to the council now for their consideration for our SART and DART teams to better serve the victims of sexual assault and domestic abuse. I've never felt as exhausted in my life, but I've never felt as hopeful in this past year, in this moment. People, the Angelinos who stepped up, people like Tiffany, the everyday Angelinos who speak their stories and who reach out with a helping hand to somebody who's experiencing homelessness or somebody who's been the victim of violence, turning victims into survivors and turning survivors into powerful leaders. We saw a profound need in this city for housing in the midst of this pandemic. We saw that survivors were spending longer periods of time in their emergency shelter placements. So raising money in the private sector, with foundations, and with public sector money, this council and I launched Project Safe Haven last April. It increased LA County's shelter bed capacity for survivors by 200% and housed 140 survivors a week. On one hand, it's great that we did it. It's a depressing statistic to have to address. And over 10 months, we were able to offer safe temporary shelter to nearly 3,000 survivors and their families, including 1,300 children. It's simple. There is no place for domestic violence, for sexual assault, or for harassment in Los Angeles. And for men, don't do it because you know a woman. Of course, we acknowledge men that are the victims and survivors and leaders too. Don't do it because you're a son or a brother. Do it because it's in our interest to build a society that's filled with peace instead of with violence. And please, to survivors out there, call the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 1-800-656-4673, or visit our domestic violence resources in the city at nodvla.org, which we launched together with Peace Over Violence. And thank you all. Y muy brevemente también en español, cada día nos juntamos en abril para orar Denim Day. Apoyamos con sobrevivientes y nos comprometemos a crear conciencia sobre las agresiones sexuales. Es simple. No hay excusas para la violencia doméstica, la agresión sexual ni el acoso en Los Ángeles. Celebramos este día porque tenemos una voz muy poderosa juntos sobre esta violencia. And finally, my apologies that I'll have to leave a little early. It's a great day for America in the launch of the American Families Act. I know we've had a council president that has prioritized families as part of an agenda here. We've got a councilwoman who's helped creating a youth development department, and the legislation that is put forward today by the president is something we've been waiting decades for, and will have an influence on the violence that we see and breaking the back of that finally once and for all. Thank you all very much, and happy Denim Day.
Thank you so much, Mayor Garcetti. You are an inspiration. Thank you for your leadership in getting us through this whole year. Now, I want to turn to a speaker who actually exemplifies what Denim Day is all about. It's about receiving the stories of survivors. And I'm so excited to introduce you to Tiffany Duvernay Smith. She has a story to tell. She's a survivor of domestic and sexual violence, and she works to give back. She's a systems reform advocate employed by LAHSA, the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. Let's give a warm welcome to Tiffany Duvernay Smith.
Thank you so much. And good morning. Again, my name is Tiffany Duvernay Smith, and I believe in breaking patterns, cycles, and chains, footholds, strongholds, and chokeholds. I am a survivor I am happy to be speaking to you all on Denim Day, and I am wearing tight jeans. I was born right here in LA and had a fantasy childhood. I grew up performing in dance recitals, and I traveled the entire world with my mother Phyllis by the age of 10. My happy fantasy childhood came to an end when my phenomenal mother died unexpectedly just before my 12th birthday. I remember feeling kidnapped when my dad took me to Texas from the only family and place I had ever known. I eventually came back, and for all of my 20s and into my 30s, I had a stable life, my own apartment, my own car, and I worked in corporate America for Fortune 500 companies. I was heavily into my Bible and extremely active in my church. They were my family, and I felt great about my relationship with God. In 2006, at the age of 33, I started a relationship with the man who became my abuser. Of course, he was charming, and that slowly turned into manipulation, control, verbal, mental, spiritual, economic, emotional, and physical abuse, along with sexual coercion, which means to be pressured, tricked, threatened, or forced in a non-physical way. So I felt kidnapped again, this time for my church, family, and my relationship with God. I was arrested during this time. I was the victim, but I was blamed. I was treated as the perpetrator and sentenced to 3 years probation, 52 weeks of anger management, and over 400 hours of community service for something I didn't even do. Telling my story, which is actually my life and my testimony, is my vindication. In 2010, after years of dysfunction and only a $100 rent increase that I just could not afford, I lost my apartment. And at the age of 36, I was homeless. I bounced around for the next 5 years, living in my car, staying with friends, at motels, and secretly in someone's garage. When I finally attempted to break up with him, we did a terrible back and forth dance for months. It's the cycle of violence, tension, violence, honeymoon, or tension, emotional outburst, honeymoon, repeat, repeat, repeat. I needed help. I was afraid I would end up dead or in jail on accident or even on purpose. That's where I was. And in April of 2012, I was 38 years old. I went to the Department of Social Services for help with cash and food stamps, told my eligibility worker about my relationship, and was referred to Prototypes, which is an organization that offers domestic violence services, where I went for support groups for 5 years. But in the beginning, 90 days after I started, I finally left that abusive man for good. I was determined to figure out, why did I choose this person? Why did I stay so long? And how to never choose him again in the next man. Also, my regular doctor referred me to depression therapy and PTSD therapy. So Prototypes helped me apply for supportive housing, and in 2015, my Valentine gift was the keys to my very own apartment. It had been 5 years and I was able to breathe. I was relieved and grateful. My mind was clearer and freer. I chose peace over violence when I chose a healthy relationship. In 2017, at an event on Crenshaw, I was advocating for housing for formerly incarcerated people. He was too. We began advocating together, studying the Bible together, jumping waves in the ocean together. He was all of my answered prayers in one person, and Thomas and I just celebrated 3 years of marriage. And back then, at the age of 43, after experiencing childhood trauma and abusive relationship, homelessness, mental health challenges, healing, and recovery, I finally had the healthy relationship I was holding out for and that I knew I deserved. So instead of returning to corporate America after all that healing and dealing, I have used my lived experience to help others. I'm a systems reform advocate focused on domestic violence survivorship, mental health stigma reduction, housing and services for people experiencing homelessness, and criminal justice reform. I've shared my life with law enforcement officers during their crisis intervention training. I've helped hundreds of elementary school children learn the game of chess. I work for a nonprofit helping formerly incarcerated people start their own business. I'm on the board of directors for a reentry organization. And I work for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And as Patty mentioned, I recently began working for LAHSA, the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. I do consulting for CSH, the Corporation for Supportive Housing. I'm on a couple of lived experience advisory boards, and today I'm participating in Denim Day to share my life and my testimony with you. If I can overcome, anybody can overcome. Also, if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. I know that God led me to D.D. Hirsch to break the patterns of PTSD, to prototypes to break the cycle of domestic violence, and to supportive housing to break the chains of homelessness. And I hope that while I was telling my testimony, you heard the chains falling. I'm very glad to be here to Peace Over Violence, to share my story of resilience, which is a controversial word at this point for some reason, but I'm very glad to be here on Denim Day. I do want to acknowledge men who have been abused. I do want to shout out my husband, who taught alternatives to violence while he was in prison, to lifers who now live here in the community of Los Angeles. And I want to shout out Downtown Women's Center, Rainbow Services, and the Domestic Violence and Homeless Coalition, of which I'm an advocate on behalf of. Thank you very much.
Tiffany! Worked it out.
Thank you.
Let's hear that. Applause for Tiffany. Thank you so much. You personify resilience. Now it is, we have leaders here that just hold up our city. And I'm so happy to be able to introduce to you Councilmember Rodriguez, who represents the 7th District. She's chair of public safety. Her priorities as councilwoman include not only public safety, but developing opportunities for youth, establishing healthy communities, building a strong local economy, supporting small businesses, and creating efficient city government. Recently participated in POV's Listening to Youth panel as part of Denim Day and Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So happy to introduce Monica Rodriguez.
Thank you so much, Patty. But I think, we're here today to uplift and celebrate the contributions of the survivors. And Tiffany's story is exactly why we're all here in solidarity wearing denim today. Tiffany, that was just an incredible, your story is why we do what we do here. But I want to actually thank Patty Giggans and Peace Over Violence for their incredible work in supporting and uplifting the voices of survivors, helping victims recover from that trauma to become the very advocates that we need in this city to help lead change. Because change will not be achieved by the leadership of this building alone. It takes the community's partnership to help us lead in the right direction. And I'm so grateful that we have allies in POV and in so many of the survivors that are just like Tiffany, that have taken that trauma and applied it to change. That is how we move this city forward. I'm so proud to be aligned here with colleagues who have dedicated their careers to helping advance opportunities and change here in this city. To the partnership and collaboration with Peace Over Violence, which has helped to expand and improve our response to victims and survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. But we have a great deal more work to do. And as a mother to a son and a daughter, I'm really grateful for the partnerships and collaborations that are helping to end the cycles and educate our young people to help assure that we do not continue these cycles of abuse, but that we continue to impart that wisdom and understanding for young people, that they too can be part of this change that helps put an end to sexual assault by understanding what consent means. And so I'm really grateful for the collaborations and the show of solidarity here today, but I'm most grateful for the angels that are exemplified in Tiffany and in Patty Giggans. Thank you all so much for your incredible leadership. I'm proud to be here in solidarity with you every day and every year that we commemorate this incredible work. And let us together continue to advance the work here and the change in the city of Los Angeles. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Monica. Is this yours? Here we go.
Got that bike?
I mean, it's still there. It's my great pleasure to introduce a real friend of this city and of Peace Over Violence, Councilmember Ridley Thomas. He was there at the very first Denim Day. He's taken Denim Day with him when he went to state government, and now he's back in city government, Board of Supervisors, and his support for not only survivors, but for community health and to end homelessness in our city is incredible. And he's currently representing the 10th District, and he's chair for the Council of Homelessness and Poverty. Big round of applause for Councilman Ridley Thomas.
Well, thank you very much. I'm quite pleased to be here, Mr. Mayor, Madam President, Patty, council colleagues, and most assuredly, Tiffany. We're rocking this denim today, all of us here, because we embrace peace over violence. That's what we do. That's who we are. We offer no apologies for it. It makes a difference in terms of the quality of life of this city and well beyond. Let me just cut to the chase if you don't object. I want to say that a recent study conducted by the Downtown Women's Center shows that more than 36% of women experiencing homelessness experienced domestic violence or interpersonal violence within the past year. And so it has already been indicated that this matter that we address today is an intersectional issue. I provide this example simply to say that we have work to do. This crisis demands action, and action now. And over the past decade, we have collectively taken important steps to address sexual assault and violence. The Council President and I have come forward to deal with human sex trafficking. Patty and I have worked collaboratively on that issue. These issues interrelate in a powerful way. But our voices must be loud. They must be unwavering. They have to be steadfast in our standing up against sexual violence. I'm a devotee of nonviolence. Therefore, it is just natural for me to be here, and I am proud to have been here for the length of time such has been the case. Now I'm under orders in the interest of domestic tranquility, Patty, to make sure that Avis gives a shout out to all survivors, gives a shout out to all those who are struggling right now and are witnessing how they can come up and exercise the level of resilience that we have done. Avis and I have been partners in marriage for 42 years, and much of that time has been in collaboration with was then LaCaud, now Peace Over Violence, and we're not going to turn back. We're going to continue to be supportive in the imaginative ways that this organization continues to represent. And so I want to say much appreciation to all who are here. I want to say that together we can and do make a difference. I want to say, in addition to that, that it's Denim Day today. It's Denim Day all day. It ought to be Denim Day every day. Thank you very kindly.
Thank you so much, Mark. And now it's my great pleasure to welcome a new and fresh voice to the city of Los Angeles in terms of city council membership. And that is a Councilmember Raman, who is newly elected, representing Council District 4. She's an urban planner, a working mom of preschool-age twins. She's an immigrant to America. She works on the issues of homelessness, affordable housing, climate goals, and youth development. And she also recently participated in our Sexual Assault Awareness Month POV's Listening to Youth panel. Welcome, Councilmember Raman.
Hi, everyone. It's always terrible to be the last person to speak because everyone's already said everything that needs to be said on this day. But I did want to say that I'm so happy to be here sharing this space with you, Patty. I know so many people who've personally benefited from working with Peace Over Violence, and it's really an honor to share this space with you today. This is my second time standing on City Hall steps. This is only my first press conference on these steps as a council person, but this is actually my second time standing on these steps talking about sexual assault and sexual violence. The last time I was here was when I was the executive director of Time's Up Entertainment, an organization that came out of Me Too organizing, which started in Hollywood and spread around the world. And we were standing out there and protesting against the appointment of Brett Kavanaugh as our Supreme Court Justice. And that prompted another national conversation around what is acceptable and what is not in terms of violence, how power imbalances lead to violence on a daily basis for so many people, and how we must change behaviors and we must talk about these behaviors in order for these things to change. And I think that's why, for me, this day, Denim Day, is so important, because after Me Too, after Harvey Weinstein prompted a national and international conversation about it, after Brett Kavanaugh's appointment prompted a national conversation about it, that was the first time I spoke publicly about my own sexual assault. And I was already the ED of an organization that was working on Me Too related issues. And so I think it's incredibly important that we come together and talk about how sexual violence is unacceptable and what we can be doing together as a society to prevent it from happening, to teach young people that this kind of behavior is unacceptable, and what we can do as a city and as a city council to make sure that we change our policies within City Hall and for the whole city to make sure that this is really prevented from happening. And I'm very happy to be here with all of you today working on this as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that testimony. It's an amazing day today. It's amazing to start Denim Day right here at this press conference with these amazing leaders. Thank you all so much for your support, not just for today, but always. And as you can hear, it's very personal to our leaders. It's not just political. It's political, it's personal, it's professional. It has a lot of deep meaning when survivors see that there are leaders who stand with them. So I just want to close today by saying thank you all for being here, and I want to give a shout out to the Denim Day Development and Communications team at PUV, who's worked tirelessly to pull our 22nd Denim Day together, and a special shout out to our project director, Shirley Alvarado, who's watching us, can't be with us today, but she's watching us from San Francisco. We miss you, Shirley. And also to all of the staff and volunteers at Peace Over Violence who've been working remotely for 1 year, serving more people than we've ever served in 1 year. And we're so happy to start getting out of the Zoom box. We can't wait to come back to LA.